Hello, friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Janice Iche, and I'm so happy to be back here with you all. Today, we are talking about loneliness, particularly how to deal with it. This is a video that's long overdue. A couple of you requested it from me, and I'm finally delivering. Before we dive in, hit the thumbs up button if you like this kind of videos from me, and don't forget to subscribe so we can keep in touch. Okay, let's get into it. There was a time in my early 20s that I really believed that loneliness would be the thing that would take me out of this world. I suffered from it heavily and felt so victimized by it. And this all changed after I went through a sexual assault that was so traumatic that it had to wake me up to how much I was neglecting my own self-worth because I just couldn't be comfortable alone. Feeling so lonely all the time made me seek friendships and companionships and relationships with all the wrong people in all the wrong places. I put myself in so many terrible situations just so I could feel an inkling of love from someone else. But that was never love, was it? My healing journey from that trauma had to begin with understanding my own self-worth and realizing that I could also love myself the way I desired to be loved. You really need to understand your worth and that it does not waver just because no one around you can validate it. You need to love yourself so much that your life is still pleasurable and enjoyable even without people to share it with. The love you have for yourself needs to be a constant, as this is what will save you from a lot of abuse. You will be able to identify and walk away from any situation that does not serve you. So I'm bringing to you 13 different tips that you can utilize to help you cope with the circumstance of loneliness that you may be going through. A lot of it has to do with putting yourself first and giving yourself the love that you know you deserve, valuing yourself enough to want the best for you. This is all how I personally deal with my own loneliness and how it doesn't feel so bad anymore. First of all, I think it's important for us to differentiate between loneliness and solitude. For trauma survivors, we can feel lonely even in our solitude. It's a lot and it's confusing because you do enjoy your company, but you just can't shake off that feeling that something is missing from your life. I'm talking about the loneliness that comes from disillusionment, discovering that the people around you aren't who you thought they were, that the world around you isn't what you thought it is, and ultimately that you are not who you thought you were. There's the loneliness of going through something so traumatic that none of the people around you can understand it or even empathize with you. There's the loneliness of lacking the support that you need from true connection to the other people in your life, which leads to feeling severely misunderstood by everyone around you and can even lead to a loss of self where you feel like you can't see yourself anymore because that inner validation has been hurt by so many people not being able to see or validate you. I want to take a moment to say that you shouldn't blame yourself if your inner validation has been weakened for one reason or the other. Don't blame others either, but make it a priority to discover who you still are underneath all that pain and hurt that is clouding your perception of you. It's life. And this is what trauma does. This is what I mean when I say that trauma really erases you as you have known yourself. And when you lose yourself like this, you can really experience true loneliness. And the reason why loneliness is such an issue is because it has true negative impacts to the body. It's stress. And in this 21st century, we know exactly what stress does to the body. And it's real because when you don't have people in your life who truly know you and understand you, it makes you wonder what is wrong with you and why other people don't think you are worthy of their love and support. It makes you question so much of yourself, but what I can tell you is that your loneliness is not only a reflection of you, it is a reflection of the society and community at large that you are a part of. People say that everyone is going through their own thing, and this is true, but really we should be able to care for each other and for what the other person is also going through. We ideally should be able to hold the other with grace whenever they are going through a hard time. But with the progression and advancement of the kinds of systems that are running our world, I'm talking capitalism, misogyny, and patriarchy, humanity has really lost its ability to care, not only for the other, but even for ourselves. I think about it this way: how can someone hold me with care when they are actually careless with themselves? It's not entirely about you being unlovable. It's that you live in a society that does not know how to love. So here are some trauma-informed tips to help you handle feelings of loneliness that have come from CPTSD or facing extreme trauma. The first step is to do some self-reflection to figure out what triggers feelings of loneliness in your life. What situations and circumstances make you feel lonely? Who makes you feel lonely? What about yourself makes you feel unloved or unlovable? For me, comparison, especially on social media, just does it. Seeing people with their groups of friends and people who just love each other, spending time together and doing good things for each other, it makes me wonder why I don't have that in my life right now. Another thing is not having any actual friends in my life or people who truly know me and understand who I am. Even without social media, when I look around my daily life and just how much of it I spend on my own, it's way up in the 90%. It makes me sad sometimes, like how did I end up here and what is wrong with me? And during these times, I find myself isolating even more, because it's like, who even cares that I'm not around them? It's a terrible loop that makes me feel even more lonely. And when I'm low, I neglect a lot. I don't take care of myself as well as I should. I eat things I know I'm not supposed to be eating. I may drink alcohol. I just do a lot of neglecting. It's terrible until I gather enough strength to pull myself out of it. And sometimes it does take too long. It's a mixture of self-pity, but also all my fears being confirmed to me. So it's like, where are the people I can care about? And where are the people to care about me? You think, oh, maybe I need more exposure and this could be it. But how do I gain access to the spaces that I need to be in to find my people? And the old delusion just doesn't feel safe for me. I know people say, just believe that you already have what you desire and it will find its way to you. But how is it going to happen if I'm not taking the right steps and actions to make it happen? Lucky girl syndrome. How well does this work for everyone? And are you telling me that if someone doesn't believe they're lucky, they will never achieve their desires? Because whoa, who is God? It's so many questions and you're just stuck there with your small human capabilities. Okay, let's circle back. The second thing is that you need to be the kindest and softest with yourself. If you're lonely, it's probably because you are not around people who can understand you or empathize with you, and you may also be unable to understand and empathize with yourself. Who else is to empathize with you if you cannot do that for yourself first? The energy you keep about you needs to be the sweetest so that you can feel comfortable and safe within yourself in the absence of having this with other people, so that your inner world can be a safe space for you when you don't have that kind of safe space in other people. You need to be kind with yourself so that you're not feeling a double lack. Yes, it could be that you're lacking safety and comfort in other people, but baby, you're not lacking it within yourself. Which brings me to the third thing, which is your time alone is the time to build your relationship with yourself. When you have no friends, you need to become your bestest friend. You are in your selfish era where all the energy you have is going directly to you. I know that sometimes we gain energy from being around people who genuinely love us, but when you don't have this, you need to be that kind of friend to yourself. You need to be giving yourself everything you wished you were getting from the loving people that you lack in your life. That means solo dates, romanticizing your life, doing sweet little things that you know you enjoy for yourself. Seriously, the kind of relationship you wish you were having with others is what you need to be creating for yourself to have with yourself, however this looks like for you. The fourth thing is that your solitude will give you the space to discover your authentic self and will also give you the space to actualize your authentic self. Find freedom and liberation in being exactly who you are without anyone around you to judge you or make you feel any type of way for being you. Look for the person you were when you were younger, between the ages of 6 and 18. What did that person like? And try to do those things again. Then, the fifth thing is to develop hobbies separate from your electronics, phone, laptop, etc. Find healthy ways to keep yourself occupied and help you pass time. Find activities that bring you joy, fun activities that make you smile and laugh. This helps you regulate your social media use because we all know how seeing other people's lives all the time causes comparison, which leads to us feeling like we are behind in life and all those terrible things. Focus on enriching your day-to-day life, as this is what will keep you grateful for the life that you do have. This also encourages more happiness in your life when you're filling your time and your days up with joy and laughter. There are so many solo activities that you can do to incite joy in your heart. Creating something that you know you will be proud of. Creativity really heals a lot. You go to bed more fulfilled from your day. This healthy kind of busy also prevents rumination, which is what digs us deeper into low vibrational emotions and incites depression. You want to maintain high vibrations, and yes, this does get difficult sometimes, so give yourself grace. But do your best not to dwell on the negative thoughts and shift your thought patterns as soon as you can in order to override the rumination. Some tactics that I personally use for this is gratitude exercises and changing my environment. I'd say changing my environment actually works much better and faster. Take a little trip, go window shop, go take a walk, and watch people at a restaurant or visit a relative, anything to give you a sense of novelty and change. Which brings me to the sixth thing, stepping out of your environment and changing it even in the smallest way. Remove yourself from the misery by stepping out of the physical space that you have been in. If you can change your environment for a long period of time, do so and place yourself somewhere you can meet good people. I know for me, this has been a huge aspect for my identity crisis. You ask yourself like, damn, if I'm not meant to be here, then where am I meant to be? If I have felt lonely here around these people and it hasn't changed, where am I supposed to go so I can meet the people who I can be in community with? It's tough questions that I never seem to have the answers to. But if you have any answers for yourself, please follow them and go where you think you should be. Because changing your environment is good for the purpose of novelty. But I must say, like for me, like I just moved to a different town. I always need like a month of adjusting because yes, novelty can be good. But if you're someone who's used to being in your place that you know and someone who likes what to be around what they know, it can get difficult to adjust. But the most important thing is to keep your heart and your mind open and possibly stick to a healthy workout and eating routine that you can rely on, because changing our environment changes our perspectives of being in a new place, and this can change your way of thinking and also how you perceive your life. For the seventh thing, I'd love to put you on to Crappy Childhood Fairy. She's a YouTuber here on YouTube, and she makes content on healing CPTSD. She helps you understand complex childhood PTSD better, and she has a free program called The Daily Practice where she shows you how to journal emotions with the purpose of releasing them in order to free and regulate your nervous system so we can have space to do the things we actually want to do. Especially for those of us who faced severe trauma, her practice really helps to learn how to regulate our emotional and nervous systems so that there's room for us to be who we fully are, not the versions of us that are bogged down by all our trauma and pain. Number 8 is to be the one to reach out. Sometimes you do have people in your life, but maybe the relationship fell out for one reason or the other. Sometimes it was you on the wrong, particularly in instances where you pushed people away. You can reach out and try to mend a relationship. If after contemplation and the other person still values you, you may be surprised that they would be willing to rekindle an old relationship. I'm talking particularly about friends who were good to you, not the ones who used you and couldn't care about you. Some relationships end for a good reason and others need a second try. Of course, there's a lot that needs to be communicated, especially boundaries and the changes that you have both gone through. But if you truly believe in something, you shouldn't be too proud to try. If there's someone that you think about often, reach out, and maybe time is all that your relationship needed. Don't be afraid of rejection. Accept it if it comes, knowing that you did your part. Personally, I've never rekindled an old friendship, but I do believe in magic and the goodness of life. So try what feels right for you. This goes hand in hand with leaning on the people around you. I have always had a tough relationship with my family, parents and siblings, but getting older and facing so much isolation, I've really done the healing I needed to do to be able to be in relationship with my family again. I overcame all the blaming on myself and on others. Yes, my parents effed up my siblings and I major, but I am actually at the adult stage right now where I can choose exactly who I want to be and I can make the changes within to get there. It was much harder when I was younger because I was still learning who I am. But now I have enough understanding of myself to truly take the wheel of my life and steer it to where I want it to be. And I am still on this road of discovering who I am and doing what I need to do to be my best self. But I'm grateful for all the solitude I have because it gives me the space to figure all of this out. The 10th thing is to appreciate your solitude for what it is. I always kept it in mind that everything that has a beginning also has an end. I remember vividly days when I didn't feel lonely or times when I had people and friends around me. Okay, a lot of those friendships weren't true and that's why they didn't last, but I see the bigger picture and I see the different phases of life. One thing I am certain of is change. Just like my life changed into isolation, so will it change into something else. I keep hope for that I will see more different phases of my life. And this always gives me hope and faith and something to look forward to. So remember that loneliness is always temporary, as is everything else in life. There's no exception here. Hold out for the chance that your life will change and keep faith. That's what I'm doing. So in that breath, practice gratitude And this is the 11th point. Count your blessings just like you count your woes. Take account of all the good things that you are and make it a point and a priority to enjoy yourself in this regard. You get to witness yourself every day. Notice the little things you do that you like and count on this, because this is what makes you special. Then grow from there. Every day nurturing and nourishing all the little parts of yourself that you adore, and this will continue to grow. Keep affirming yourself, and most of all, be grateful that you have yourself. If no one else has you and gets to enjoy you, at least you do. You have yourself, and it is a blessing, for you will always have yourself first. I think of it this way. I get to be selfish with myself because I know I'm sweet and not everyone deserves a taste of my sweetness. Another thing I may have mentioned briefly earlier, but it is to manage your media consumption and dive into healthier forms of media, like books. Books to me are a healthier form of escape in comparison to electronics, because as people healing from trauma and living with CPTSD, we are already fond of escaping using unhealthy ways. So limit your screen time, because it takes a lot of your day, and by the time you come out of it, you're a little dazed. I'm talking TikTok. I remember how it felt to finish a good book when I didn't want it to end. You can go outside and read and truly immerse yourself in the experience. It feels good and is a good way to pass your time. And if you are in need of an escape, this is a much healthier option in comparison to electronics or getting into drugs or alcohol, yet it still provides a similar type of relief. I'm acknowledging that we do need escapes sometimes, because life does get overwhelming and too much. So just make sure that you're choosing a healthier alternative. Lastly, we have therapy. Now, I know I said I don't really believe in therapy, but it's because I just see therapists as human beings just like me and you. Yes, maybe they've studied it or whatever, but really no one knows you better than you know yourself. And I say that because personally I felt even more lonely and misunderstood after seeing therapists, because I don't know if my situation is so unique or what, but I've never met a therapist who truly understood my situation. So they were never truly able to help me in what I was going through. They actually caused more harm by projecting or assuming or drawing conclusions or trying to put me in a box that I didn't belong in as an attempt to understand me. Therapy has personally never done much for me, and I always hated leaving their offices, having poured so much of myself and my heart out just for them to misunderstand me. So I stopped going to therapy. As my birthday twin Kelsey Lou said, I'm giving up therapy, but I'm not. Basically, it's like, I'm not giving up on me. I'm giving up therapy, but I'm not giving up on me, baby. With that being said, if therapy works for you, then I do recommend it. Some people might need someone to listen to them and give them some advice. At the end of the day, you need to figure yourself out and figure out what works for you. Alright friends, I really hope this video was helpful, and comment any other tips or experiences you may have down below in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so we can continue to have more conversations like this. Loneliness is nothing to feel ashamed of. It's a reality for so many people everywhere, and a depiction of the kind of world and society that we live in, not your personality or personal flaws. Because we all know that there are some terrible people out here who have people around them who genuinely love and care for them. So the relationships you have are not necessarily a virtue of you being a lovable or unlovable person. Humanity in general is not nearly as black and white. So please give yourself so much grace and keep being you. Keep doing your part and believing in the goodness within you and in humanity and in life and in the world in general. It is more beneficial for us health-wise to be optimists rather than pessimists. All right, I love you all and thank you so much for being here with me. Let's meet again in my next video. Bye.